Welcome to another episode of Down the Barrel Podcast with Jimmy and Dino.
And sometimes Jared.
Down the Barrel Podcast is brought to you by the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association
and wolf.report. Wolf.report, a platform dedicated to elevating the voices of Minnesota hunters, trappers, and outdoor enthusiasts. Join us in advocating for responsible wolf management in Minnesota. Share your reports, photos, and stories, and together we will ensure that they are seen by all.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association, protecting the future of deer and deer hunting through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation. Minnesota Bow Hunters, building community, celebrating tradition, driving change.
All right, today we're talking turkeys with Mr. Eugene Crandall from the Minnesota chapter of the NWTF. Thanks for joining us, Eugene.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
It took a little effort, but we finally got you to the right spot today. I appreciate you sticking with us, and I know we had some issues with the time, and Dean told us 3. Maybe he told you 2, so
we'll blame Dean.
He's
not here today.
Dino is not here with us today, so
it's kind of nice here.
It does seem more comfortable here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely smells better.
It smells way better.
No, Dino's closing on his new house today.
That's right.
So he couldn't make her. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that noise that you just heard was some kind of funky call that Jared brought in. Yeah. I didn't even know I've never even seen that call before.
I bought a bunch of turkey stuff back in the day when I started turkey hunting, and this is one that I've never used. And I don't know what it's called either, but I bet Eugene does.
Tube gobble.
A tube gobble.
Yep.
All right.
If I had brought my mouth calls, I do mine with mouth
it's
call now.
A tube gobble.
There you go.
I have never seen that thing before, but it seems like it would be pretty easy to use in a blind.
Right.
But Eugene, you're saying they don't work that great?
It calls in other hunters.
Boom. That makes sense.
There you go.
So what do you use for a call, Eugene? I mean, what's your go-to call?
My go-to call is my mouth call.
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular brand or?
No, whichever one works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
I go through a lot of them.
Do you?
The struggle I have with mouth calls, I should really have my dentist here to remind me what they're called, but I have these really big bumps on the inside of the roof of my mouth. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what they're called, but they're normal, healthy, whatever. Sure. But it's hard to find a mouth call that fits. And so I've had to do a lot of trimming. And
really?
Oh, yeah.
So you got you a little trick about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't trim them.
Don't trim them.
Chew on them for about 2 hours.
Oh, there you go.
I can do that. I never chew gum, but
every one of my calls when I start out, I put it in my mouth and I just chew around the whole circle, get it real soft. It'll form to the roof of your mouth. I don't care what shape your mouth is.
Perfect.
I suppose it softens up the edges. So
All right. Well, that's all I needed out of this interview. So.
Well, I don't know. I was talking to Eugene when he came in, and he said he tagged out already today.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty good.
And now I heard rumor that this was your first northern Minnesota turkey.
Yes, it was.
So how close was your next furthest north turkey? I'll say.
Down by Little Falls.
Oh, okay.
Piers.
Yeah.
So you took your turkey today somewhere in Itasca County?
Yep.
Okay.
Just east of here.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Because, I mean, I think it was just the last couple of years, I've finally started to see turkeys at my house. And I live over kind of by the college.
Okay.
So east of Grand Rapids, just east of Grand Rapids. And I have a flock of maybe 5-6 birds, but they vanished on me this winter. Please tell me that's normal.
That is totally normal up here.
So will they come back?
Not this year.
No. That's horrible.
I located a flock 3 years ago up here and thought, boy, this is it. I'm booked.
Yeah, right?
Haven't seen them in 3 years.
Oh, man, that's a bummer. I was really looking forward to them.
I found them other places.
Okay.
I just had to search around the area.
Yeah.
They were not in that spot anymore.
Yeah, because even as far up north as you, Jared, you have some birds you've been seeing up north of
Yeah, I'm between, Rapids and
Balsam.
Big Fork. Yeah,
Yeah.
Balsam Township. Well, not township. But yeah, so I'm up there. And yeah, I've seen a couple flocks around the road. And then on my property, I've had on separate occasions, like 2 lone hens come by the game camera. But that's about all I've seen there.
Right.
But yeah, my family has a property down by Pillager. And we've been getting
Good area.
Yeah. We have 5 really nice toms that have been coming through. So I'm actually heading there tomorrow and be hunting through, Saturday afternoon. I got to come back for, to hide the Easter eggs or whatever.
I suppose Easter's this weekend too. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But yeah, so I'll be heading down to do that and hopefully get one of those toms.
This flock that I hunted, been watching it for 4 years. Different area. It's about 20 or 30 birds now.
Nice.
So it's I figured it was about time. I just had to figure out how to get to them.
Yeah.
Because I hunt public land. I hardly ever hunt private land.
Yeah.
Probably 3 times in 30 years I've hunted private land.
Wow.
So that's impressive. So you took a public land turkey in Itasca County, Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Mm-hmm. I hope I can do that. I honestly, I seen a flock of like 20 over by Dino's house, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a little bit south of here.
I mean, I might go over there. I don't know.
If
My
he lets
brother-in-law
you.
has
We
a
did
farm.
kind of just insult him.
We did.
So
But it's not his property, though.
Oh, that's true. It's the blanded land, right?
Right. It's public land. So
All right.
he ain't going to stop me.
might slash your tires, but
So what did you, I mean, obviously a tom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'd heard the birds in there a week ago. I located them, called, and heard them 300-400 yards away, and that's it. I just walked back out, didn't stick around. So I went into the area and didn't hear anything. Went in a little farther along a logging road,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they lit up about 200 yards away. So I made a mistake. I sat down right then. I shouldn't have.
Oh.
I should have kept going for another 50 or 60 yards and called again. But anyway, I sat down. So it took me an hour to call them in to me to come.
Yeah.
And I could tell it was a big bird.
Oh.
Just the way they sound. If you've hunted them long enough. I had them probably within 60 yards through the, and this is heavy woods. We're not talking a field. And he was gobbling right there straight between me and the river. And all of a sudden, I heard a putt behind me.
Oh, man.
that's a great sound.
Wait, how could he get behind me? No, another bird had worked in around behind me and came up behind me and spotted me.
Oh,
So I said, well, that's what I got to do. So I swung around on it, and he started moving off and was headed off to my left, and I was in the opposite direction I was set up for. So I swung around and let him have it. And then, of course, I wasn't holding the gun real well, so the scope got me.
yeah.
But I got the bird.
Yeah.
Hey,
Nice
that's what
2-year-old.
Well, and
Nice.
you got a nice souvenir on your brow
Yeah.
line there.
Yeah, you do.
That's not the first
Did you
time,
even feel it, though? You probably didn't even feel it.
but the blood sure gushed out.
Well, that's awesome. Opening day, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
7:30.
great. 7:30. All right.
Yeah.
In
Was-
Itasca County. Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty sure the birds came across a river. I call them across the river because I didn't know why they would be in the woods where I was, but
Yeah.
I knew there was a field about a half mile away through the woods across the river. But I thought, yeah,
So basically, you just went for a walk down this logging road, and you're calling the whole time.
no,
Just-
you don't call all the time.
No?
About every 100 yards.
Okay, and then you just, if you don't hear anything, you just keep walking.
Keep on walking.
Okay.
So when you're trying to locate a bird, what are you using to call? I see people use crow calls, this tube gobbler. Like what are you using?
If I'm trying to locate them and not really hunting them, that's what this is really good for, is locating.
Yeah.
It's not going to come to this. It's not going to come when you shake this thing. But if I know where I am and I'm not going to be hunting them right in that spot, I'll use my box call.
Your box call.
Yeah. And I'll hit them. And usually if they're within 300 or 400 yards on a calm day, I don't even scout if the wind's blowing. It's not worth the time.
Really?
Yeah, you want to be able to hear everything in every direction if you don't know where they are.
Right.
So, yeah. I just walked in on the road and
And about how far can you hear them away from you on a calm day?
on a calm day,
Yeah.
years ago, I could hear them a quarter mile away.
Okay.
Now my hearing is so bad that I use hearing aids.
Okay.
I can still hear them a quarter mile away
Nice.
on a calm, clear day like today was. Yeah,
Interesting.
especially if they're still in the roost.
Yeah.
Once they hit the ground, a lot of people think, "Oh my God, they shut up! I can't even hear them." Well, they're probably still gobbling, but they're on the ground, and now you can't hear them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound doesn't travel as much.
Ooh, especially if it's a wooded area, it sucks that sound right up.
Yep.
So how early did you go out? Was it dark?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. You were out there.
I got out probably a little late. I should have been out there at 5:30, but I got tied up last night, so I didn't get to bed until 12:30,
So what time did you take the bird?
7:30.
Oh, so pretty dang early then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right.
It was, it wasn't the bird I wanted, but I got it.
Hey, you got a bird.
Yeah,
Nice beard on it.
9-inch.
Nice.
Yep. And it was a 2-year-old. I had 3/4 inch spurs. That's a 2-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
But yeah, when they come in behind you and they start putting, you either take that bird or you're not going to get a bird because every bird in the area hears that putt and they're gone.
Yeah.
Really? So what does the putt mean then to a bird?
Alarm.
Oh, okay.
Means Eugene is here.
Eugene's here. So it's kind of like a deer when it blows or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
You got about a minute
Okay.
when that putt starts.
Yeah. Hence,
If you're lucky.
Hence the scope.
Right.
They had
right.
30 seconds.
Yeah. Quick decision.
Yeah.
Take them or lose them.
Yeah.
So what do you use for a firearm? What's your setup?
I got a 12 gauge semi-automatic Winchester's SX4.
Nice.
SX2. It actually was the first SX.
Okay.
I bought it back
Okay.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dina's always going on about those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a popular firearm.
I bought the first dedicated turkey gun by Mossberg, the 835, back when it first came out.
Yeah.
I decided it kicked too hard, so I gave it to my son and I bought it.
Yeah. I get that. Oh, man.
So this morning, where you were, let's see where you were, the birds, you said popping, right? Putting behind you. If somebody was out there with archery equipment, would they have had an opportunity at that bird?
No,
No? Too thick?
too thick,
And
he's moving.
He's moving?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't slow down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got him at about 35, 40 yards.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I actually saw him.
Okay.
And he was going.
Yeah, because you're out with archery.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not right now, but I will be.
I mean, you're
going Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll be out there with the bow. So you're not running decoys then?
I had decoys with me, but I never put them out. I didn't know how fast he was going to come in because when I first struck that bird, the second time he gobbled, he was already 50 yards closer.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, no time now. I got to get set up. So I threw up my ground blind and
Oh, so you were in a ground blind?
I use a fence. I call it a fence.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I
So I
seen those
carry it in
before.
my back. Oh,
Yeah.
that's my go-to. I use a full blind when I'm mentoring someone
Okay.
when they're first going out.
And you said it was pretty thick out there, so
Very.
yeah. So you don't look for like little clearings. See, that's what I was
on
thinking.
the logging road. That's the only clearing I had. Was
Okay.
the logging road in
Okay.
each direction to the
He
left
came
and right.
behind you. So
Behind me was
yeah.
thick cover.
Yeah.
He was probably only 15 yards away when he putted,
Wow.
but there's no way I was going to turn on him. If I'd have turned and tried to shoot, never would have got a chance.
No.
The only chance you got is to let him get out a little bit farther.
Yeah,
And
I suppose.
when they're going away from you, they're not looking at you.
And did you bother calling at all to try to get them to slow down, or
No,
just
no.
okay?
Just too
When they're
fast.
putting, they're done. They've made up their mind, and they're going to keep going until they forget why they were putting.
Right.
That's their self defense, is to leave the area
Yeah.
when they're alarmed.
Interesting. See, I never knew that about putting.
Yeah.
Because I actually have turkeys at my house. I mean, we have a little hobby farm, so I have turkeys, so I can hear their vocalizations, but I don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Well, they'll cluck,
Right.
which people, that's a putt. No, the cluck and the putt are two different calls.
Okay.
The putt is a really sharp, hard.
Oh, okay. I've heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah. It means something's not right.
Jim's here.
They're not comfortable.
No.
There's an eagle flying overhead kind of thing.
And
Yeah.
being he was that close to me, I knew I was up against a tree, but at 15 yards, their eyesight is so good, he probably counted the
Right. Stitching on your shirt.
Stitching on my shirt, yeah. Yeah, they don't. I was lucky I got a shot off. I got to put it that way.
Right.
The only chance I had was he was 35 yards away already and going to cut across the Logman Road. That's the only reason I got him.
Yeah.
Man, you knew there was turkeys in that area,
Yeah.
so that's why you were there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you'd been seeing them probably, maybe saw them before.
Yep.
I mean, you just didn't go out and hope.
No, I don't. I've been looking for birds up here for 3 years.
Okay.
So I was pretty sure these birds were going to stay in this area. I've seen them off and on for the last
Right.
3 years in this area.
And did you know how big that flock might be? I mean,
Yeah, there was a field about 3/4 of a mile away, and I'd seen the flock in that field, 20 or 30 birds,
okay.
but they were across the river.
Okay. So when you see in a flock 20, 30 birds, is that like you trigger, okay, I can hunt here? Anything less, would you have hunted there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
You don't need 20 or 30 birds.
No?
No. In fact, the more birds there are, the harder it is to
All
hunt.
you need is one.
Because my flock, when I had them around my house, was 5 or 6. Is that safe to hunt? Something like that? I mean, they're gone now, so I don't get to hunt them, but.
Well, depends on whether you want the flock to grow or not.
See, that was my dilemma. It's like, should I even hunt or should I see if they'll reproduce more and more?
If 4 of them were toms, longbeards, yeah, I'd hunt it.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose because then what do you have
It
to
only
lose?
takes
Really,
one.
You're right? Yeah, well, I don't think I did get to this year because I haven't seen them since February. I think I used to see them every day on the clock out in my field, and then all of a sudden they're just gone.
That's the way it is up here in this area. The birds are up here now. They've moved up here. When the last place we transplanted them with the NWTF was Aiken.
Okay,
That's the closest.
Yeah.
And all these birds have come up here, up to Mississippi.
yeah, and it's so crazy because my dad sees turkeys at his place, and he has a place up near Togo, and he's regularly
area.
seeing birds. And when growing up there, I never in a million years would have thought of seeing a turkey. Now he calls me, oh yeah, I see several of them every day.
20 years ago, the word was you'll never see birds. The birds won't exist north of Highway 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, the climate is just too harsh for them. Yeah, that's not true.
Right, because
They're all the way to
isn't the
Canadian
turkeys
border.
that we have here, didn't they come from Canada?
No.
No, so who told us that? We had a podcast and somebody said the turkeys that we have here came from Canada.
No.
I'm going to look back. Somebody told us that.
The last
Let's blame
two
Dean.
Okay.
wild bird release was Aiken and Thief River Falls.
Yep.
So the birds that we released in Thief River Falls probably migrated into Canada too,
Okay.
because that's real good ag land over there. Those birds are doing real well over there along the border.
Right.
They're huge flocks.
So the birds we're seeing here came from the Aiken area then. They moved north.
Yeah, 99% of them. Some came from the Duluth area and came this way because they were in Wisconsin, but not that many.
So how does it affect the birds? Like in my area, my little area, I have a high population of predators. And is that why I'm just not seeing as many? I have coyotes, bobcats. I mean, I have all that, a lot of them.
The second problem with up here is okay, we don't have a lot of ag, right?
Right.
We also don't have good habitat, nesting habitat, and that's what it takes.
So what is good nesting habitat for a turkey?
Good cover that opens up into open area.
Okay.
They'll nest in the woods, but usually it's pretty close to a open area.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a very big open area.
And that's what I have in my place. That's why I'm surprised that they left, because it seems like, because I have big fields with soybean stuff in Grand Rapids by my place, but they just vanished on me.
they found a better food source somewhere.
It just shocks me.
That's what it is here.
Yeah.
Because our food sources are so small up here.
I
They will
suppose.
travel, and if they found an area where the food is better, they'll stay there for a year, and they'll move again. Unless the flock grows. If it grows, then they'll split off. And
Well, maybe once the
back.
fields get planted again, I'll see them again.
if you got corn, that's pretty much the anchor. Soybeans are okay, but corn anchors.
Soybeans. I got soybeans, so
Yeah,
I'll have to put some corn out back or something.
yeah, yeah.
Wouldn't hurt.
I mean, down by you, where you hunt, Jared, the Pillage area, there's quite a bit of agriculture down there, isn't it?
More than here.
Right.
Yeah. It's still not, like an ag rich area.
Yeah, because across from you is Ripley, right?
Yeah.
And there's no
Well, if you count
agriculture there.
like landmines as
Well,
agriculture.
They do have some open areas.
Do you know why there are birds in Ripley? I mean, in Pillager, because they came out of Ripley.
Right.
I've hunted in Ripley for 20 years now.
Yeah.
I don't hunt. I mentor
Okay.
disabled veterans there.
Yep.
Coming up to the end of the month. 20 years ago, there were so many birds there that you had to chase them away to put them
Right.
blind.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The last 10 years, we had some pretty bad hatches here, about 10 years in the whole state. That's, and so the population dropped, but it's getting back up there.
Yeah, because me and Dino used to go down Ripley and hunt every year in the archery hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I always would see turkeys because it was always thick. I loved it in the morning. It just lights was coming out, the sun was coming up. You'd hear that gobbling, and that was just foreign to me living up here,
It's great.
The best sound in the world is that early morning.
I know
spring
you hear
wow.
that gobble, and then all of a sudden you just wait. Okay, where they at? And they'd come walking single file underneath the stand. I just loved it.
No, it's the best. But yeah, no. So the birds that I will be hunting this weekend, we know, I could tell you the tree that they are roosting in.
Really?
It's on Ripley, right? Yeah. And then they fly down across the river and make their way out into the little field I'll be hunting. So,
So you're on the north side.
well, it's across the Crow Wing.
Growing, yeah.
So we're a little bit east of Ripley, a little bit north as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know where the river is. I've hunted along it.
Yeah.
So you got a pretty good chance, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
I hope so. I've been getting them on the trail camera pretty much every day, other than about 4 days ago. I have not seen them since. At the toms, the hens are still coming in.
Yeah, well, they're not far away.
Right.
Sure.
If you've had hens, the toms aren't far away. That's,
Exactly.
this time of year, that's where they are, wherever the
Yeah.
hens are.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully.
So
Well, you were out. You said 6:30 this morning. You had one by 7:30.
Yeah. I sat down at 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
and it was light, no cloud cover. Oh boy, I'm a half hour late. But I was far enough away from the birds that it really didn't matter.
Yeah. So hopefully 7:30 Friday morning.
You send me a text.
I will send you a picture.
Okay. All right. I hope you do.
That's the plan. Yeah. I probably won't be bringing that tube gobble.
I kind of like the idea of taking the tube gobble when you're walking around because that's so easy. You just swing it. You know?
Right.
Right. I've never seen one of those before.
Remember,
today.
this is what people are hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
The hen call is, if somebody stalks a hen, they're hunting the wrong bird this time of year.
So, is there a lot of hunters out that you know of right now? I mean, I know when Dean came to work today, he saw a hunter going out by his house,
Yeah.
and I just don't see turkey hunters around me.
Not here.
Right.
Very, very few in Itasca County right now. I can't hazard a guess, but if you run into another hunter up here right now, it's pretty amazing.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so I guess that's a good segue into NWTF and the local chapter.
Right.
How big's your chapter here? It's just you?
It's pretty small. It's been in the area actually for 24 years now.
Okay.
Oh,
Been
really?
a chapter in Grand Rapids, yes.
See, I never would have known that, and I joined NWTF a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and it's like, so how do you? So when I joined NWTF, did I join the local chapter, or is that
Your
something
name
else?
will be
Okay.
on my
Radar.
radar.
Okay.
My chapter will be credited with your
Okay.
membership.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, and you all typically have your banquet the same night as our state habitat banquet.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that the
So you're at the Eagles, right?
Eagles.
Here
We
in
did.
Grand Rapids. Okay.
The previous president insisted on having it on a Saturday, and I said, no, we're not having it on a Saturday anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to compete with the MDJ.
Yeah.
That's craziness. So we moved to Friday the last 2 years,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
but we're still dealing with the hockey tournaments and
Yeah.
basketball. And,
Yeah, even us, we deal with that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just trying to grow it, get people aware that the NWTF is here, and that is why there are turkeys here. There would not be turkeys in Itasca County if it wasn't for the NWTF.
Right. And I think it's such a neat
There
thing.
would not be turkeys in a lot of the country
Lot of-
if it wasn't for
Do
the
you know
NWTF.
where the GNR started moving birds into Minnesota? Well, they have for 60 years, but the first ones were game farm birds. They didn't last.
Okay.
So in the early 70s, 69, 70, someone out east figured out that you need to trap wild birds.
Yeah.
So they started bringing them into Minnesota. And they had to trap them in another state, and we had to trade animals for them because you can't buy wild animals. The Lacey Act, you can't do that. So even the DNR had to provide, so we traded grouse, walleyes,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and for the other states, and we brought them in. And by 1975, the DNR decided, oh, that's enough. We're not going to bring any more in down in the Whitewater area. That's the only place they'll live in Minnesota. And that's why the NWTF started in Minnesota. Is that the guys said, "Oh no, we want birds everywhere.
Right.
Well, at least come up the Minnesota River Valley. That's a good area, right?
Yep.
Should be good." Well,
Here we
last-
are seeing them in Big Fork.
Right. Yeah.
the last release was in 2010.
Wow.
And they're just moving. I mean, there's just a march north.
Yeah, the DNR said even if, and we paid for them all from when they quit releasing in 75. The NWTF paid for all the releases after that with our fundraising in the state.
So when they do a release, how many birds is that usually about? Varies, I suppose.
The first birds that the DNR brought into Minnesota, 40 total.
Wow.
That's it.
Really?
So 99% of the birds that are in Minnesota right now came from those 40 birds.
Right.
Some were from Missouri, some were from New York, and a couple other states. I forget. I used to know it all, but I forget. It's been a lot of years.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But,
You
yeah.
forgot more about turkeys than we'll ever know, probably.
Well, and you were trying to remember something that somebody said on air earlier, and I don't remember what that was. But this story is reminding me. I think it was Ryan Rothstein was talking about a trade deal we had made for turkeys, and we got those 40 turkeys for something like 3,000 walleye or something like that.
The first it was grouse.
Grouse.
Okay.
The very first
Okay.
birds came from Missouri. They were grouse.
Yeah.
And I don't know which state got the walleye. New York. I don't know. And we even traded some black bear
Oh, wow.
with Arkansas.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we still owe them some black bear. Actually,
He owned Arkansas, some black bear. Clay Newcomb's going to be calling us.
That's going to be the talking points with Clay when we get him on here.
yeah. So we it's been a success story because there were no birds in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
The wild bird was gone by the early 1900s in Minnesota. They were gone. They were just.
But, I mean, they are native to,
Yes, they
to
are.
the state.
They did not exist this far north. They don't.
Well,
they don't
yeah.
like pine as much as they like hardwood forests. Well,
Okay.
our hardwoods ended at the Minnesota River, pretty much, right, in Minnesota historically. But hey, we changed the habitat up here now, and now this is a habitat that, if there's openings,
Yeah.
Right.
they just don't do well in a forested area, heavy forested, all forested. They'll travel through it, but they don't like to live there.
Yeah. Now, is that because of predators or is it just food?
Predators, they're a big bird too.
Right, I suppose.
Imagine a 747 trying to fly through the trees. It doesn't happen. Now grouse, they can fly
Right.
through the trees. Not
Yeah.
turkey's got almost a 4.5, 5 foot wingspan.
Yeah. It's the Boeing of the avian world.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think it's great, and that's one of the reasons I joined NWTF is that I was starting to see turkeys, So, and I knew that obviously they were responsible.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's just great. When I woke up in the morning, I'd have my coffee, look out my window in the field. There's my 5 turkeys, and it was like that for months. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be able to hunt around here eventually. You know?
if you have food around there, they'll be back, and there'll be
they'll-
more next year.
Gosh, I hope so.
So remember, each hen can lay between 10 and 13 eggs
A year? Or?
every year.
Oh,
And so if you got 4 hens, that's 40 chicks that are on the ground. Granted, more than half of those would be dead by the fall.
okay.
They just don't make it.
Okay.
It's, in fact, right now, the average replacement is 2.5 birds per clutch.
Really?
Yeah.
And what is the primary predator? Is it birds of prey, or is it coyotes? Is it wolves, fox, skunks?
Probably the 90% of the nests, because a full 50% of the nests that are on the ground don't make it. The raccoons probably take most of
Really?
those.
So we should be out there.
Eggs. They kill they hit the eggs before
Yeah.
they hatch. Well, that's, and the bird, they will re-nest if they lose that clutch of eggs sometime in the middle of May to the end of May. They will lay again, but by June they're done.
Yeah.
And then a wet. What really hurt us 10 years ago was our wet springs.
Yeah.
They will not; those poults will not survive a wet, cold May.
Okay.
They just
Makes
won't.
sense.
And
You get
that's-
wet and just can't handle it.
That's
The
when we
cold.
lost most of the birds up
Kind
here.
of like me. I hate being wet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the coons,
They used to
that's
say
what it
the
was.
snow would do it to it, but hey, the snow has nothing on the wet spring.
No.
That's good to know. So I want to hear more about the local chapter.
Yeah,
So how long has that been around?
that it was 20. Well, it's 24 years, 25 years now. North Country Spurs.
Okay, I might have heard that. I think I might have heard that. North Country Spurs.
Bill Litchke was the president for
Okay,
many years,
okay.
and then Scott Winter. And I took over 3 years ago.
Okay.
I retired and moved back north. I grew up in Grand Rapids.
All right.
Left in 72. And
And you took over at a good time when we have our own birds.
yeah. I wasn't going to retire and go south. I said, hey, there's birds and there's snow for my sled up here. I'm
Right.
north.
That's a
and
good
retire.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I
Timed it
took a
well.
bird within 2 miles of my home.
Oh, that's got to be a good feeling after that, right?
Usually I drive 100 to 200 miles.
Right. Yeah, I never thought in a million years I'd be able to hunt turkey around here.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and I got my license this year, and I'm hoping somewhere around here I can find one.
Oh, they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they don't, okay, they left your area, maybe they traveled a mile
Okay.
tops.
Because I know they disappeared right when it got really cold. So I was thinking maybe they went into the woods, get a little more cover,
Yeah.
get out of the soybean
They'll
fields.
find a pine forest. When it was that cold, that's where they'll
Yeah. And
survive
there's one
with
right
the-
there, too. A nice big pine forest right there. So,
Well, and you got that logging road leaving your place.
yeah.
They probably just wandered up there a little ways.
Yeah.
So if I wander around calling, I might find them again.
Yeah. You want to borrow that tube gobbler there?
Hey, I might. That'd be, yeah. Can you buy those around here? I've never even seen that thing.
Yeah, they've been around. Yeah, this is one of the original ones. This Primos.
Never even seen that before.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other brands out there, but the Primos works the best. I say I don't use them, but I have used them. When I'm all done with them, if I'm in an area and the birds just aren't responding to me, I don't, it's just not working today. Just before I get ready to leave, that's when I'll use that.
Yeah.
I'll hit my box call as hard as I can, and then I'll shake that gobbler. And I figured either they're going to come in or they're going to leave. I'm leaving anyway, so
Right.
I might scare them away.
See if something will talk to you. Yeah, my father-in-law, he comes to my house all the time. And we have turkeys out in the field by the horses, so he always has to go out there with his calls and try to talk to them.
Yeah.
He drives out there with his truck, and he's out there squawking.
I've heard that people do that. They'll get their domesticated turkeys just to watch their behavior, listen to how they talk to each other, and try to communicate with them. So yeah, I think it's
There's
a
a
good
lot
strategy.
to that. If you can understand what a turkey's saying, you'll be a much better caller.
Yeah,
It's the way it is. It's just not squawking on that box call. Bah, rah, rah, rah. You got to know when and how to use it.
yeah,
Use it hard, use it soft.
Well, and to know when they're alarming, too, that they're going to be taken off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That, I think, is golden information for anybody starting to hunt.
oh for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think we all know what it means when a doe blows at you.
Right. Yeah. Your hunt's almost done.
Here you got it.
You go to your other stand. You know?
Right. Right. Oh, that's awesome. So how many NWTF members do we have around in Itasca County? Do you have any idea?
No.
No guess?
No.
I mean, you're a member, right, Jared?
No, I need to renew. I have not been an NWTF member in Minnesota. I was out in Colorado.
Okay.
But yeah, I need to. I will be a member.
We have
And
our
I'll
banquet in
hopefully
February.
be
I
at
think
your
we're going to
banquet.
move our banquet into March next year.
That would be amazing because
Then we could go. Then we could go.
Yeah, because I'm usually in a board meeting, you know, and as fun as those are, I would rather be at an
Another thing, our
NWTF
national
banquet.
convention is always the middle of February, so that really put a crimp in it. You know? It's
Yeah.
like- and then their state chapter banquet is in the first part of January, and then
Yeah.
my banquet is the end of February. It's like, oh, that's too much.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's we do a lot with the chapter here. We know we donate to the food bank every year. We gave almost 1,000 turkeys, or not 1,000, 100 turkeys.
Wow.
And we're still
we spent
seeing them.
$1,000. You know, wow, these are genios.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, we donate to the food shelf every year. But we try to use some local money, and we support the trap teams in the area.
Right,
We support the archery program, the NAS program.
That's
Support
great.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those all come from the state board. Like I said, I'm the vice president of the state. The state has a state chapter. You know, there are local chapters, around 55 or 60 chapters throughout the state, and there is one state chapter.
Right. And that's what you're vice president
Yes.
of. Okay.
And we oversee the funds that come back into the state. All these little chapters raise money, and it goes to our national headquarters, and then they distribute it back to us, and then we spend it in the state.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have a pretty good chunk of money to spend in Minnesota.
That's
Well,
great.
great.
We just right now it's find somebody to ask for it.
Well, and so NWTF, when you're spending that money, is it mostly habitat, education, advocacy? What all do you work on?
We do habitat enhancement. We have a wildlife biologist on staff for the NWTF, and he takes requests for money for habitat. For land acquisition, for habitat management, for we even have for buying equipment. If the state chapter cannot own equipment, we can't own it.
Okay.
So we wait for a NGO or a state to come and say, hey, we really like a cedar or a brush cutter or something. You know, we'll help fund it. We
Okay.
don't fund it 100%. We want them to have a little bit of skin in the game too. So, yeah, it's.
But then you get to take advantage of that piece of equipment, right?
Well, no, actually, it is theirs, but it has to be able to be used on land that's huntable.
Okay. Okay. I get it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what it is we're running out of land to. We're not getting enough requests for the public. We used to be if the public can't hunt on it, we won't spend money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're not getting those requests that much anymore.
Really?
So the national chapter has come around and said, we've always said we won't help private land, but a lot of, those birds don't stay on private land. So if we help a private person build up the population on their land, those birds are going to move on to public land.
True.
They, they don't, fences won't even stop them.
Right.
They fly. So we're it hasn't been changed yet, but probably.
So they're looking at that.
But it won't be like, this person, I got 40 acres. I want you, they have to go through U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service or another NGO that's willing to oversee the work on the land.
Okay.
We'll give it to that organization, and then they will spend it on the private land.
Okay.
There's a lot of details that have to be worked out.
Right, for sure.
It's not set in stone anywhere. So,
Yeah.
So are you guys considering doing any more introductions?
no.
No? You're done? That's not allowed anymore? Or?
Minnesota DNR won't let us do it anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the
We
logic?
couldn't do it. No one, private people can't do it. It had to be the DNR to do this capture and release.
Okay.
So, Yeah, it's illegal for you to take birds and release them onto public land.
Okay.
So, always has been.
And that's probably why I have to fill out a DNR paper when I get turkeys for my little farm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you have to say you will not put them out on the public land.
Yep.
You know, they wouldn't survive very long out in the wild.
No,
anyway.
not the ones I have.
They just don't. The first ones that were released down in the whitewater area were pen raised birds, and they actually would feed them for a little while. Oh, we'll feed them to make it so they're, to get them a little bit better. Well, they're not, that food is their main thing. The trucks would show up to feed them. They'd slam the door. The turkeys would come running.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't too hard to figure out.
Truck stop and then the turkey stop too.
Stop. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to turn domesticated animals wild, right?
Right.
Yeah, they just aren't. They just can't survive. I always say that if it's small, what the turkey doesn't eat eats the turkey.
Yeah.
Right.
The people say, "Well, what does the turkey eat?" I said, "Anything it can catch."
Yeah.
Simple as that. And just about everything bigger than them eats a turkey. So at some shape, the next big predator for the birds, and people don't realize, is the owl.
Yeah.
The great horned owl.
I do have some of those around.
They'll kill the adult birds in the trees at night.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many in here is, what was nice for this area was that when there are no birds and then they're introduced, the predators really don't know what they are. They haven't figured it out. That's why the population will just climb really fast into an area when they're first brought in. Then the predators figure it out and they'll stabilize it.
Yeah.
It's like down in the southeast corner of the state. The population was huge 20 years ago, and now it has dropped back down and tapered off for predators know where they are, the landscape, how much they can handle for food, how much food they can find. And so, they were saying, "Oh, you got to help us with the population." That's pretty much where it's going to be.
Well, they found a balancing point. And That's kind of where it's going to hang. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So, I love eating wild game.
Oh, yeah.
So, as far as turkeys go, when you're cleaning a turkey, skin on.
Depends on how much work you want to put into it.
It's a lot more work to get.
If you are going to boil the turkey, the skin has to be on it.
Yeah.
If you're going to grill it, or even if you're going to roast it, you need to leave the skin on, and you got to pluck them, and that's a lot. They have a lot of feathers.
Yeah, they do.
So I skin mine.
Okay.
I skin them, marinate them, cut them into sizable portions, and then grill them.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite way to do it. And what I don't eat, I cut it up and put it into a turkey soup. Makes the best soup you've ever had. And the wild turkey is just amazing in a soup, especially if you've grilled it, so it's got a little more flavor into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You get those little lead pellets
Well,
simmering in there.
if that's why you cut it up so you can find those. Exactly. I was told all my kids, you win a prize if you find a BB.
That's right.
Yeah, you're like crunching in your teeth. So how about smoking? Would you do that skin on or skin off? Or could you do either or?
Oh, you take the skin off if you're going to smoke it.
You do, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is good. You smoke a wild turkey and then slice it into lunch meat. It's about as good as it gets.
That does sound good.
Yeah.
So what's your plan then, Jared? You going to go skin off or skin on this year?
Well, my plan is to get a bird first.
Well, that helps.
I do still have one in the freezer from the fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna smoke it. Well, the one I have in the freezer is still skin on. So I think I'm gonna do skin off.
Well, I will tell you, I do know somebody that loves to pluck birds, and you would be shocked at who it is, actually. The better half of somebody that usually sits right there.
Honestly, like before you gave me that hint, I was gonna say you're probably talking about Dean's wife.
Yeah. Lo and behold, she used to do that.
Every bird I get from now on, I'm just going to drop on her porch.
Do it. She'll pluck it for you.
That's amazing.
Love it. See, I'm like a lazy plucker. I'll get what I can, and then I just take the blowtorch to it. Get all the pin feathers and everything. But
biggest mistake people make with wild turkeys
is taking the blowtorch to it.
Overcook it.
Yes, right.
Do not overcook it. In fact, medium rare is the best.
Yeah. Same with ducks.
Everybody's, oh, you got to, you buy a turkey out of the store. It's, you got to cook it to death. That's because it was in a butcher shop and dropped on the floor, and all the salmonella and E. coli and everything is that bird that you got is its only bird. It's unless you drop it on the ground and
leave some pink in there.
Leave some pink in there.
God, if you are not cooking your ducks medium rare, you've never eaten a duck.
Oh,
we're talking about turkeys here.
Yeah. I know, but it's the same thing. Same cooking method.
It is absolutely the best. The legs are good. People, oh God, I can't eat the legs. They're like terrible.
So do you cook them to a certain temperature on the inside then, or you just wing it?
Just wing it, cut it open and look and see what you got.
Just a little bit of pink. And
I mean, what's chicken supposed to be? 165?
No idea.
I think that's right. I don't know. I used to have my serve safe.
Yeah, but that's cooking a chicken.
Exactly.
Got a store-bought butcher shop.
Exactly. So I was going to say maybe like 135, but don't hold me to that.
I don't know.
I just eyeball it.
I just eyeball it. I have no idea what temperature is.
When it looks like I want to eat it, I eat it.
If I can touch it and it still squishes, that's when I eat it.
Yeah.
If you touch it and it's hard, cut it up and put it in soup.
There you go.
Exactly.
And you guys are making me hungry for some turkey.
Right?
They are so. They're so much better than a domestic bird. It's not even a comparison.
I've never had wild turkey, so
it's good stuff.
Well, you better get one this weekend because
that's the plan. I'm heading out tomorrow. Get down there and get set up. Hopefully have a bird Friday morning, if not Friday evening. Otherwise Saturday morning. And if I don't do it then, I got to come home and hide eggs.
You said you had a bird or two at your place, though. Take that thing out there and call them.
Those are just a couple hens that have been passing through.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah. If you use a tree call to them in the morning, if you're in there and it's dark, and they'll respond, even if they're a long way away. And then when they hit the ground, you just hammer them with your box call.
Yeah.
And get them to talk to you.
You prefer the box call over the pot call?
If they're a long ways away, the box call is much louder.
Yeah.
And my mouth call is almost as loud as box call, but not as loud.
Yeah.
Pot call is more delicate.
Right.
When they're coming in close and it hangs up and I just can't get them to move, then you break out the pot call.
Yeah. Give them a few purrs.
Yep.
So when you say pot call, is that the
glass slate?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the little.
You used to call them
looking
slates.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, but it's a pot call with a slate surface. You can get glass surface, you get aluminum surface, you get copper surface.
And that's the one with the little scratcher?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That we have to listen to down at Deer and Turkey Classic when we walk
Oh,
by.
yeah. God, that guy makes some good calls. But Jesus, shut up everyone.
He likes to use them at the show.
It's nonstop.
Gotta draw in those hunters.
It doesn't matter what show we're at. We're always
Somebody's got turkey calls.
Yeah, I guess I'm guilty of that a couple times.
It's like, I am so glad I'm not next to this guy, but he's got some nice calls.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Oh, you got some nice calls.
Yeah.
I can't resist turkey calls. I got way more than I need.
Yeah.
Well, so where all do have you turkey hunted? Like, are you going for the Grand Slam?
Oh, I have two.
Oh,
you
really?
have to. Yeah. All right. Story time.
Right. I don't even know what that is. So, I know what the idea is.
Yeah. What? The 5 subspecies?
The 4 is a slam.
Okay.
The 5 is a Grand Slam, and the World Slam is 6 with the oscillated.
Okay.
So I took my reels in Hawaii.
Yeah.
My Osceolas in Florida, of course.
Right.
Of course, my Easterns, I've got way more than I can count of those.
Right.
Yeah.
Hunted them to New York and Maine, and my Miriams I've gotten in Dakotas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. So I've hunted 20 different states.
Wow.
Haven't taken a bird in every state, but I've hunted 20 states.
Have you hunted New Mexico?
Yes, I'm going there in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Can you take me with you? I don't know why. I do know why. I've done a few trips in the Gila Wilderness down in
That's where I'm
Southern New
hunting.
Mexico. God damn you. And ever since I'm talking 5 steps from my truck in the Gila Wilderness, I've told myself I am going to come here on a turkey hunt, and I have not done it yet.
First time I went there was like 20 years ago. My uncle lived in Silver City, just south of the Gila.
Yeah.
And he elk hunted all the time. And I said, I'm going to come down there turkey hunting. And he said, well, we can go up where I elk hunt. And I said, I don't know if he said, I don't know if there's any turkeys here. I said, well, let's go look. So we get out. He said, this is my favorite spot for elk hunting. He says, okay. So I took out my calls. I hit him 3 times and 4 birds. Oh, gobbled right. He goes, whoa, I've never heard that before.
Oh, man.
So what were you doing out there if you weren't turkey hunting?
Oh,
Were you looking for lizards or something?
Yeah, partially. I mean, the Gila monster's down there.
That's where I picked up on.
I never did find one. But no, just backpacking trips and but everywhere I go, I'm looking at hunting opportunities, and that's turkey country.
Yeah, New Mexico is one of the easier non-res states to get. It's over-the-counter tags.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Every state is getting harder and harder.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's not the state I'm worried about. It's convincing my wife to let me go.
Well, it's kind of a dual purpose hunt going down there. So I get to my wife. That's what Hawaii was. Is that you can go, but I got to go too. She says,
right.
Okay.
All right.
Oh man.
Yeah, that might work.
Right?
Especially the warm places. I could probably pull that off, honestly. I don't know about New Mexico, though.
You don't know about it?
Well, I mean, I know about New Mexico.
So it's a state.
Well, I know
it's part of the
state.
United States.
Okay. All right. I didn't know they had this special turkey hunt down there in the Gila Wilderness, whatever it is.
They're Miriam's. The Miriam bird is down there. Yeah. They do have some of the ghouls. Now, that's the ghouls had pretty much been hunted out of the United States. The only place they existed was in Mexico. Well, about 20 years ago, they started, can we get some? And they brought them back in. So Arizona has a few and New Mexico has a few.
Yeah.
But they're draw only tags. And you get in 20 years, you might get a tag.
Okay. Yeah. Now, is that part of the Grand Slam? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with just getting a damn turkey around here myself.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the goal for now, right?
Right.
But dream big. Aim for the aim for the moon. You'll land among the stars. Is
that what saying is?
I don't know.
I never thought I'd be able to hunt turkeys around here, and I'm just excited again. I mean, even up north by Dad's place, there's a chance. And I was going to ask you, since there is so few hunters, obviously there's fewer birds.
Yep.
Would it make sense to go to a place where there is just brand new? Would them birds be more apt to come to a call?
You would think. It took me an hour to call that bird in this morning, and he'd never had a call before. He never heard a call before.
So no.
Well, when they get to be 4 years old, they've run the gauntlet. They are so cautious. They
really
nothing.
I suppose.
So, what is your strategy though? If you're going to a public land that doesn't get a lot of pressure, you've never been there. Do you just hike and call? Wait till you hear a gobble.
First, I do a lot of searches for the land. If there's not water on the property, I don't bother.
Yeah,
it's the hens need water in the spring for egg production.
Okay,
so that's why they're there. After the eggs are laid, the birds get all the water they really need from the food they eat, the green grass.
Okay,
they don't take a lot of water, but in the spring. That's if you go out west, if there isn't a creek or something around, don't bother. When I hunted the Dakotas, the Black Hills, first few times out there, I didn't know that, and I spent 300 miles driving around checking out these canyons that had no water in them, and there were no birds either. So so I looked at, and it helps to have large trees on the property. Yeah. They'll roost in a tree every night.
Okay,
from their time that they're 8 weeks old, they roost in a tree. Except for in Hawaii, they don't.
No.
Because there aren't any predators.
I suppose. That makes sense. Will they roost in like a pine tree?
Yep.
Okay.
They don't like to, but they will. Okay. Especially in the wintertime. Yeah. They like big trees so they can see around them. And their eyesight is so good, the odds of you sneaking up on one roosted in a tree are slim to none. They're just not going to happen.
Yeah.
unless the wind's blowing in your face like a hurricane, then you may, but because they hear good too.
Yeah.
The saying is, if the turkeys could smell, we'd never kill them.
Yeah, right.
Because their eyesight and hearing is way better than ours.
Exceptional.
And so if they can't see you, and then when it's in the dark, they can hear you. May not know what you are, but they're not going to come down to where you are.
Right.
They'll just fly in the other direction.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to give me one of those calls. I'm going to walk by my place and see if I can get some answers.
Take that one. I'm not using it.
I might walk back there tonight.
The crow call. The crows really got them to sound off this morning.
See, that's what I'm bringing with me.
I haven't had a whole lot of luck with crow calls, but when I heard the bird first, I can't really say it was my calling that made them call, but the crows were just, and every time the crows around me, you hit it, the birds would gobble.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I have a lot of crows by my place too. I wonder.
But that's right away. And after an hour, then they don't gobble to them anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
They really only do it from the tree, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, that's what I'll have with me is my crow call for the locator, even though I pretty much know where they are. So I don't need that. If you want to take it, play with it.
I'll give her a try. I mean, that'd be cool if I could get something to answer with it, because then I know they were still in the area.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're out in the open, and so that somebody's hunting around there.
Yeah, most of my area is pretty open, and I haven't seen a hunter, a turkey hunter, since I've lived there, which I'm sure will change now that there's birds around. But
Right. Well, yeah, that's a good point, because I think, unfortunately, the hunting accident statistics are pretty heavily weighted towards the turkey hunting side.
really,
Well, it's because people are chasing sounds in the dark. And
You're in full camo.
Full camo, hiding up against trees.
Up against a tree.
I see a little movement. And,
So safety is, I teach firearm safety classes and turkey clinics. And it's just, there's no reason to stalk a hen call. I tell people, you're not hunting hens in the spring. So if you hear a hen call, don't go there. It may be a person, it may be a hen, but it does you no good.
Yeah, and that leads me to say, learn the difference between a hen and a tom call, because I have no idea.
Hens, we say, they yelp and the toms gobble. Well, the toms will also yelp, but it's a different pitch. It's a much lower, gruff yelp. No tone change, just a rock.
Okay.
Where a hen has a break in it, high, low.
So yeah, you should
Kind of like Dino.
right. So I was like, you should learn these things before you go out in the woods.
Yeah.
It's true. And also, firearm safety 101, know your target.
Don't shoot at sounds.
It's unfortunate. I don't, it was an accident. I don't know.
Right.
I don't call it an accident. It was
It was stupidity. Yeah.
It's just no excuse for it.
Right.
Especially in the spring when you're only hunting toms. Like if you're just shooting at a sound and movement, there's no excuse.
Know your target. Yeah. So in turkey season, obviously you can use shotgun in the spring. Is there any orange requirements for that?
No.
I didn't think so.
Yes, there is. If you use a blind, state law in Minnesota now,
on
you
the blind,
have to have 12 inches on the sides or on the top.
So now when we use a blind in Minnesota for archery, is it the same rule?
I don't know.
For
turkeys,
no.
So our blind doesn't have to have orange on it.
So they I don't know if they revised the statute, but only during deer season.
Okay.
A blind on public.
Because the blind I was saying about using, I'm not sure if it has it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for turkey, you do not need the orange.
Okay. So it's not a requirement.
Correct.
On public land, it is.
Correct.
Private land, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I went turkey hunting on public land with my bow, my blind should have orange on it.
Yes.
Okay. That's good to know.
You personally don't have to have orange.
Right. But the blind is because of that new rule. Yeah.
Because turkeys in a blind, and I'm not saying you can't use a blind, you shouldn't use a blind, but turkeys ignore the blind. They will walk right up to it. I don't, it just, the blind makes nothing. The human form is what they're afraid of. So if they can't see you, I've had birds when I'm mentoring or down at Ripley taking the guides out. Yeah, those birds come right up to the blind. So it's kind of cheating as far as I'm concerned. No, and it's not. I'm not going to decry anybody
because
who
I'm
wants to
totally
use.
used
If
to
you
blind
want to
now.
use a blind, use a blind. It's totally legal.
You know what?
I'm going to need all the help I can get.
Feel free to call me a cheater, and I'll go one step further. I have a scarecrow set up in my ground blind right now so that they're used to the silhouette.
You do? Did you make it yourself? Like,
I did.
Yeah.
really?
It's
Is
a
it wearing
broom-
clothes and stuff?
It's a broomstick and a sweatshirt.
So that's like double cheating, dude.
Yeah, that's right. But
Always
I'm hunting archery, right?
Yeah.
True.
So
yeah, big difference.
give me a little grace there.
Okay.
I tried archery years ago, and that's, you know what? I don't have the best luck. I need all the help I can get.
I know that's what I'm worried about. It's like I really want to get a turkey, and I'm an archery hunter, so I'm going to do archery. And it's like, am I going to get so frustrated that I'm just going to go grab the shotgun?
Well, I hope not, because you have an archery tag.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously,
right.
I'd have to get
But
another
no,
tag.
I was just telling Jimmy this morning. Last spring, I was out with my recurve, and I had this tom, maybe 25 yards, come in full strut, and I mean, I aimed center mass, released that arrow. I watched it go right through the middle of that turkey. And I was like, that's a dead turkey. And it disappeared, and I was like, I'll find it over there. I went and found my arrow first, nothing but feathers on it. They're so much bigger
So much
when
bigger.
they're strutting. I missed it clean. It was a clean miss, which is good.
The front half of that bird is all feather. When they're strutting, there's almost 6 inches of feathers sticking
Yeah.
out.
That's
If
crazy.
you don't aim for the wing, you're not going to kill that bird.
Yeah.
So that's trick. Aim for the wing.
We call it the butt, where the wing attaches to the
Okay.
body.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that makes sense.
Right,
That's a good spot.
either above or below that, and even above it, there's 2 to 3 inches of feathers. So it's when they're strutting.
Yeah. Now I think that's the bird cheating.
That's what.
That's the bird cheating.
That is the bird cheating. Guess where my body is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you have better luck this year.
Well, I mean, I did get one in the fall, which was good, but
Now, was that one? No, was that a archery?
it was, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad took
Your
one
dad
with,
took
with
one with
my,
gun.
my turkey gun.
Yeah.
Typically, I'll do archery in the spring, and then I'll use my shotgun in the fall.
Right.
But yeah,
Fall hunting is a whole different ball game from spring hunting.
Is it?
it is.
It's in the spring. It's the breeding season. It's all about the hens and the toms. In the fall, it's all about food.
Okay.
If you don't have a good food source on the land that you're hunting in the fall, you're not going to have birds there.
So would you hunt turkeys in the fall around where you hunted today?
No,
No?
there won't be a bird within. No,
No?
no,
Are you going to hunt birds up here in the fall?
probably not.
No? Wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's
It's
good
too
to know.
frustrating. After 30 years of hunting them and 60 or 70 birds, I still would be frustrated by it.
I'm gonna be hunting at the Jenny O plant.
That might be the only place I get mine. So I'm going to give her a heck.
Yeah, it's I hunted the fall about 5 or 6 times, and I said, you know what,
Yeah. Not the way to do it.
a little too frustrating. There are a lot of states out on the east that are thinking about banning fall hunting.
Really?
Their populations are plummeting so fast, so much, that they're going, whoa, we got to do something.
Now, are they blaming that on hunters or they don't know?
They don't know.
They don't know.
So they figure, well, if they take, because you can shoot a hen or a tom in the fall,
Right.
and that'd be one more hen in the spring if they don't take it. And they're getting a little pushback from the hunters, but
I can
even
imagine.
the hunters are going, gosh, there aren't as many birds here as there used to be. What are we going to do? Well, this is one thing we can do.
Right.
That we know if you don't kill the bird, it's going to be there.
Right.
Any rumblings of that happening here?
No,
Or
our population is still
good
climbing.
enough? Good.
It's we're still on the upswing. It will get there. I expect within the next 15 years it will
it
plateau
always
and
does.
probably go back. It already has started in the southeast corner.
Okay.
Right.
So we're still seeing the climb here.
Climbing and spreading, it seems to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're finding habitat. They just keep moving, and as long as they can find the food, they're going to keep growing.
Yeah, so, like, in a place like up where my dad lives, up by Togo, what are they eating up there? There is no agriculture up there.
They have adapted it. They eat pine seeds.
Okay.
They eat acorns. They eat in the summer. They eat anything.
Okay.
It's the wintertime that's hard. I mean, and turkeys can, if it's a nasty winter and it's 3 feet of snow and it's cold, they can go a month without food.
Okay.
Sometimes month and a half. Now they're in pretty tough shape by that time, but they can. If it's 25, 30 below, they might not even leave the roost for days.
Oh, wow.
They'll just stay in one. It's too much energy lost.
And they're an omnivore then? Will they eat bugs too?
Oh yeah, they eat that. That's why the hens want a field, because if the food of that poult in the first month of its life isn't protein, they're not going to make it. And that's where the bugs are, is along the rivers and along the fields. 90% of their food has got to be protein.
I mean, he's explaining my property to T. I should have
know.
turkeys. I should have good turkeys.
I'm sure you do.
You do. You're just not seeing
You
it.
have
Right.
to. You know.
Yeah.
They're there.
They
I'm taking that call and I'm going to find them tonight.
Do it. I think I got the crow call in the truck,
Do you?
but I need that.
Okay. Wow. So, yeah. Well, I mean, we're rolling up on an hour here. We don't want to take too much of your time, but I want to ask you,
Yeah.
new hunter like me, doesn't know jack really. I mean, just what I see on YouTube or something. What's your biggest tip? What should I be doing to get a bird around here? Patience.
If you get a bird to sound off in the morning, when I go to an area, if I don't hear a bird calling, I leave. I have to hear that's the whole point of turkey hunting, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not deer hunting. I want to hear that bird. Okay, so you heard the bird.
Right.
It knows where you are.
Okay.
It may take an hour for it to get to you and not make a sound until it gets, like that bird that deeked me this morning. It never gobbled to come around behind me. The only time I heard it is when it putted,
And that was it.
and it took him an hour to get there.
Wow. So yeah, patience, but patience if you heard the bird.
Heard the bird.
Now, if you go out there and you're not hearing a bird,
Move.
move. Keep going until you hear something.
You don't have to be right next to it. You can be 500 yards away,
Okay.
but it knows where you are. That's that bird that was behind me. It knew right where I was. I had quit calling. I wasn't calling anymore. I hadn't called for 25 minutes. But it's amazing how they can locate you and come right to the tree you're sitting under.
So I've also heard, do your locator call. You hear that bird at, let's say, 500 yards off, right? Get as close as you can without breaking cover. Or do you stay where that bird heard you because it's coming to where it heard you?
No, it's like I said this morning, what I did is I heard it. It's 500 yards away. Okay. You know it can't see you. You're in good cover.
Yeah.
I'll move 60 yards and I'll call again.
Okay.
I'll gobble. Hopefully it moved a little closer. Now we're only 300 yards apart. I'll move another 50 yards. So it makes it, because the biology is the hens go to the toms. The toms don't come to the hens.
Right.
So
Really?
that's why those big old boys, those 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, you're not going to get them because they expect those hens to come to them. And they'll sit there 100 yards away and gobble for 2
Here I
days
am,
and not
ladies.
come to that hen.
That was my strategy
Really?
in
See, that-
college.
that's another thing. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's the 2-year-olds and the 3-year-olds that the big boys kicked them out and they fought. And so they're going to, there's a loose hen. I'm going to go see if I can take it. So,
Huh.
Yeah.
The odds of getting a 4 or 5-year-old turkey to come to your call, pretty slim.
Slim.
Right.
It
So
happens.
you would agree, if you're hearing that gobble 500 yards off, don't set up there.
Don't sit up there. No,
Break
no.
the distance.
If you know the terrain and you know between you and them, you can use 50, 60 yards and call again and get them to gobble again. And they will gobble then.
Yeah.
Ooh, the hen's coming.
Yeah.
And then, but don't get too close because then they're going to expect you to keep on coming.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So I probably would move 100 yards and then stop, set up, get all set up, get my gear out, get my fence out, and then call one more time and then shut up.
And would you agree 100 yards, whether shotgun or archery?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Archer, I might move a little closer.
A little closer.
Close as you can get.
That 40 yards is a long shot with that
It
bow.
really is. Yeah. Especially
But
when
yeah.
their body is
As it's-
actually a third of
Right. Half their body's fake.
it's just a decoy.
And in Minnesota, remember, there's a brush between you and that bird
That's true.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
if you're hunting in the woods.
Yeah.
which is what I wanted to do. I've hunted tons of birds out in fields. Yeah, that's fun. I'll do it again. I'm not saying I won't do it again, but I wanted to take one in the deep woods.
Yeah.
And you did opening morning.
Happy for you that you got
Right.
one this morning. That's
That
awesome.
tells me it can be done. It can be done.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Obviously,
Well, but you got an archery tag.
I got an archery tag, and I've never turkey hunted before, so chances are pretty slim on my end. But
If that bird had made one sound coming around behind me, I could have gotten it with bow.
Right.
Because it
Right.
was like, and there's no, the tree wasn't if it's a big 3 foot wide tree, so it can't see. Of course, then it wouldn't have putted but it was only a 12-inch tree, so it could see me. If I had tried to turn around, it would have run so fast that there's nothing would have hit it.
right.
Yeah.
So I didn't even look at it. I waited for it to start walk off. Then I moved.
So that bird heard you calling earlier,
Oh, yeah.
and it came to find you.
Yep.
And
So it was a 2-year-old.
Right.
So he's looking for hens.
Right.
It had been breeding already. You can tell when they breed, wears all the feathers off their chest.
okay, yeah, I suppose.
So it had been breeding. So I'm not sure why he was looking, because I know there's a lot of hens in that area quite a ways away, but there could have been an older bird there that he didn't want to fight anymore.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a try. I don't know.
Oh, it's a great time of year. You know, I hunt everything, right? And I run the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite sounds in the world is that early morning spring turkey gobble. Yeah. And with that, Eugene, if you could hit us with that tube gobble.
This is the sound you want to hear.
That's the sound I'm looking for?
Oh, that's what we're looking for. Hopefully I hear that first thing Friday morning.
Awesome.
It's going to be a good time.
It is going to be great. And I want to thank Eugene for sitting down with us and learning me a lot, honestly. And that's what I was looking forward to. And I want everybody to make sure to check out NWTF.
Yes.
And sign up for a membership. We have turkeys around here. Obviously, we have listeners in southern Minnesota too, so I'll help their members. But yeah, I signed up for NWTF first time this year.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to learn how to turkey hunt.
It surprised me up here how many people had no idea what the NWTF was.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been aware of them, but I was like,
Just couldn't believe it.
Well, it's a great organization. We've partnered on a number of grant projects. And,
right.
You know, like I said, I was a member out in Colorado, and first thing I'm doing when I get home tonight is signing up for the, what did we call it? Your local chapter?
North Country Spurs.
But I don't think I got a chance to pick a chapter when I signed up.
Well, you'll be assigned up.
But they'll assign me. Okay.
So.
Yeah, I was great. I signed up, and like a week or two later, they sent me a $25 gift card for Bass Pro Shops, which I haven't used. We talked about it. I'm going to use that. And I finally got that big old magazine you guys put out.
That's a great magazine.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And how often does that come out?
Every 2 months? 3 months. Quarterly. It's quarterly. It used to be every month. Now it's quarterly.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
It's thick.
Because I have it at work now. We were looking at today even. Yeah, that's impressive.
It has changed a lot over the years. I think it's gotten considerably better.
Good. Yeah.
But it was good before too.
Right. Well, yeah. So let's join NWTF. Let's get some more turkeys up here. Let's make turkey hunting as good as it can be up here.
As good as it can
be. Right.
If okay, I'm one more plug for the NWTF.
Absolutely.
You said you have land that you could put a food plot on.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the MDHA does it too, but we have seed for food plots.
Okay.
At a really good discounted price. Our chapter.
Well, now what kind of seed do you generally suggest for a turkey? Okay.
Corn up here. Yeah.
Corn.
Simple as that.
Great.
It's Roundup ready, year-old seed corn. It's
awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to know because I have a little spot I'd love to put some corn on. So
yeah.
Actually, I have an extra bag here around you could have.
Awesome.
There you go.
We're going to get some corn. And he's guaranteed that there's going to bring in turkeys too, right? It's special turkey corn.
I believe if it doesn't bring in turkeys, the guarantee is that you then get to
a genio. A genio.
That's usually what I go someplace else.
No, well, Eugene, thank you so much for joining us. Anything else you want to add before we wrap things up?
I was just glad I got to do this. It's
No,
just to get the word out up there,
Yeah,
man.
Right. We
It's like,
appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, and
This is
congrats
great.
on the hunt this morning.
Right.
Hopefully, I will have
bear the scars.
half the
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you do. You earned it. You
I
earned it.
right.
You earned it.
Yeah,
And maybe
hopefully
we can
I'll have
do this
some luck
again.
this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see your scar. Come next week.
Well, I'm not going to get scoped by my bow. Maybe I'll have a similar
Yeah,
mark
right,
on my
right.
Get the
wrist.
wire.
Rip some skin off your forearm.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody said, well, why do you use a scope? Well, 40 years ago, I hurt my eyes on the job, so I can't focus on the sights anymore, so I have to use a scope. And basically now I pretty much tell my new hunters that, you need a scope on your shot. This is turkey hunting. This isn't duck hunting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You aim for the head. It means you want to hit him in the head, not the body.
Right.
At a minimum, a red dot. You know, that's what I have on my
Red
turkey
dots.
gun.
Yeah. And I guess one more thing I should have asked too is recently you did a training out at the gun club
Yeah, I do a turkey clinic every spring.
every spring.
Yeah.
I've been
did
a member for years. Isn't
I
it?
bet, well, it's first time up here. I did them for 20 years down in the metro in Roseville. I did turkey clinics. Used to be mandatory, but and it's just, I thought, well, everybody wants to learn turkey. New people up here maybe would want to learn a little more about the turkey, and
Was it a pretty good showing there?
as much as I expected.
Okay. Okay.
I had the 10 people there, which is about what it is everywhere in the state now. When I first started doing the clinics 25 years ago, I'd have 80 to 100 people in my class. For 10 years, it was like that. But even 2019 was the last time I did it down there, obviously. And we had 40. So it was dropping off. But
Right. Well, it's just picking up here, I think.
Yeah.
It's just going to grow, I think. So,
I've heard enough rather uninformed comments. I thought, these people might need a little bit more information.
he's probably heard some here tonight.
Turkeys do not eat grouse.
I think I've heard that. Before. Somebody was trying to say that.
I heard turkeys eat all the fawns and
Yeah.
always get rid of them.
That's what's happening.
That's what it is.
The turkeys and the wolves are making a hybrid.
Oh, no. So, yeah. Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
And good luck to you, Jared, this weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Hopefully they come in and
I'm going to take your little funky looking call here this weekend, and we're going to see if it works. Because I think I'll have some free. I think I'll have some free time this weekend.
you got your tag, so bring your bow with you.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
One of the other reasons I quit hunting with a bow is because, you got the whole season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not going to go today. I'll go tomorrow.
All right.
I'm not going to go tomorrow. I'll go the next day. And then pretty soon it's the last week of season and I haven't been out yet.
Yeah.
See, and I'm the opposite. I'm only hunting with a bow because I'm like, I'm going to go today. Oh, a kid is sick.
Yeah.
I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah, there it is.
Pretty soon firearms is over. Yeah. And my only chance is the bow.
Yeah. Because how long? Because the shotgun season is a lot shorter than.
Well, there's 3 of them.
Is there?
Well, no, there's more than 3.
Are there?
Is there?
It's a week. Each shotgun season is 1 week long from today to May 31st.
Okay.
And you
You're
pick
right.
1
Yep,
week.
yep.
And if I didn't get a bird in this week, I could hunt the last week of season 2. So I basically get 2
Right.
weeks.
Okay.
Archery is
Straight
every
through.
day, the whole
For a
time,
month and a half.
month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I do archery.
Yeah.
Because I never know when I'm going to get to go
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. It's going to be tough this weekend because I'm going down the cities on Friday. I won't be back Saturday. And then it's Easter.
No.
Always something.
Yeah. Well, and I've already got the truck loaded up for my trip tomorrow. But again, a kid could wake up sick tomorrow. and
Exactly.
then I'm unloading the truck.
It was always work for me. And I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Good for you.
Right.
Good for you.
No doubt.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So I'm going to go New Mexico.
I hate you.
And then I'm going to do
damn
the
it.
Ripley hunt. I'm actually going to take my wife out on Friday. She's going to get a tag and we'll go hunt Friday.
Yeah.
You going to go back to the same spot? Same area? Good.
We'll give it a shot. And then I have another area not too far from there that I want to try too. So
Good enough. That sounds fun to me. I'm excited to just go see if I can get any answers.
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Go ask around with your funky call and see anybody here.
To do it in the morning, the odds are better that you'll get a response.
Yeah.
The first hour.
If you can get them before they leave the tree.
Yeah.
Wow. Mornings are usually a little easier for me, so it's even better.
Yeah. By noon, if you can get one to gobble, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
You can, but you got to be standing next to them.
Okay. It's good to know. Well, everybody, you heard it here. Get out in those woods, hunt some turkeys. Get your license first, though.
That's right. That's right. Get your license.
Do not shoot at sounds if you got a shotgun.
Right. Know your target.
Know your target.
Because that target might be me.
It could be. It probably is going to be somebody like me who doesn't know what they're doing, just wandering around the woods with some funky looking call that somebody gave me.
Yeah. It has to have a beard. I mean, if you can't see the beard, you can't shoot it.
And hey, I can't grow a beard.
Yeah.
So don't shoot me.
Yeah.
I've tried. I can't do it.
Yeah. So there you go. Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, Eugene.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
And thank you for all the work NWTF does.
Absolutely.
It's a great organization.
It is.
We're proud to partner with you.
Thanks for bringing the birds north. I love it. I love it. I love seeing them.
Yeah.
So join NWTF, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Awesome. We'll stop it there.
Yeah.
We'll be done with our Minnesota goodbye.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association has been building our hunting and conservation legacy over the past 40 plus years through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation in Minnesota for Minnesota.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and wolf.report proudly sponsor this podcast. However, please note that the opinions, topics, and guests featured may not necessarily align with the views, beliefs, goals, or mission of our sponsors.